4-1 the favourite, Deep Idol. Weather the Storm still on 7s, that's second favourite. Knockkelly Castle 15-2. Yabis has come in another point to 8-1. Jasper is 9s, Oppidan is 10-1. Shannon Spray and Canute Express 14-1. My Dominion is 16, so is Honeygrove Banker, and Jasper has just shaved a point off, has gone to 8-1. Jasper 8-1. 20-1 bar.
So the best of ours is Yarbis, and then Jasper is next in the betting, but the stand's absolutely packed cram full. There's no room to get a mouse up there. And now onto the newer, bigger stands. Of course, the private boxes on the top level. And huge crowd here down on the lawns, but let's go to Peter.
And so another page being written in Cheltenham history this afternoon as the first live race is broadcast to the betting shops throughout England, and they're coming to the first now, and as they do so, My Dominion and Jasper landed in the lead from Fandango Light over on the far side, in between horses, and right up with them is My Dominion, and it's Fandango Light taking him along. Fandango Light on the far side, Jasper running only his second race over hurdles on the near side. And between horses now, Shannon Spray for Ireland. Just in behind them comes Oppidan. And then Dan the Miller, and Jasper going to jump this clear. Jasper lands in the lead from Shannon Spray and Fandango Light in the Clown, and then Oppidan, and then River Kiriog, and behind him is Dan the Miller. Then comes My Dominion. And as they race up round the top turn here, it's Jasper in the lead from Fandango Light on the inside of Shannon Spray, and then the Clown, then River Kiriog. Behind him is Oppidan and Dan the Miller. Then comes Yank Brown, My Dominion on the inside. Towards the outside is Weather the Storm. The back marker at the moment of the 29 runners is Knockkelly Castle. And as they run downhill, Fandango Light on the inside, Jasper over on the far side. Between horses, Shannon Spray. Then in fourth comes the Clown with River Kiriog, and just in behind them comes Oppidan. Then Metman. Behind Metman is My Dominion. Dan the Miller on the outside. Danish Flight rather, just in behind them. Then comes Yabis making ground. Then Mrs. Muck not far behind the leaders. Coming to the fourth, Jasper in the lead from Shannon Spray on the far side. On the near side, very close, Fandango Light. Then comes River Kiriog, who's going to jump it fourth, just ahead of the Clown. Then comes Metman. Behind Metman is Oppidan, who's making progress. Danish Flight is losing ground. Knockkelly Castle and Deep Idol are both making ground, but Knockkelly has got quite a bit to do. Brown's Return is one of the back markers now with Seatel. Jasper still making it over the fifth. Jasper lands over the fifth from Shannon Spray. Then comes River Kiriog moving smoothly in third. Then on the inside, Deep Idol with the Clown, and then Metman, and just in behind them, Danish Flight making ground again. Then comes Weather the Storm, racing downhill now towards the third last flight in this Waterford Crystal Supreme Novices Hurdle. And it's still Jasper, who's made all the running just about so far from Shannon Spray. Then comes River Kiriog. Deep Idol is making ground. Deercrest is making ground over on the far side. The Clown holding his position on the near side. Jasper at the third last lands in the lead from the Clown on the inside and River Kiriog. Deep Idol's making progress, and so is Knockkelly Castle with a sheepskin noseband, only fourth now, just in behind the leaders and cruising at the moment. Coming down to the second last flight, the Clown and River Kiriog have taken over from Knockkelly Castle, who goes third. It's the Clown now on the inside, River Kiriog with the advantage though, and Knockkelly Castle still finishing well. He's the one in the sheepskin noseband chasing River Kiriog as they come down to the final flight. River Kiriog with the advantage from Knockkelly Castle and the Clown. River Kiriog lands in the lead. Knockkelly Castle and the Clown jump it next. Deep Idol is next. It's River Kiriog from the Clown, Knockkelly Castle, Canute Express and Deep Idol as they race up towards the line, and River Kiriog has the Waterford Crystal Supreme well sewn up. It's number one for England at the line. River Kiriog, the very easy winner. Deep Idol gets up to be second ahead of the Clown third. Fourth was Canute Express, and 5 was Knockkelly Castle. Behind them, My Dominion and Yabbis, and then Weather the Storm, and behind them, Infinity Rules and Yank Brown. And looking right back to the tail enders, the last to finish, in fact, Seatel. And so the result of the opener at the 1986 National Hunt Festival. First, number 28, River Kerryog, owned by Mr. Bobby McAlpine, trained by Nicky Henderson, written by Steve Smith-Eccles. Second was number 13, Deep Idol, owned by Mr. Herbert M. Stanley, trained by Paddy Osborne in Ireland and written by Boots Madden. And third was number 34, The Clown, owned by Mr. Jeffrey C. Greenwood, trained by Mick Norton and written by Roget Strong. And it's a photograph for fourth place between Canute Express and Knockkelly Castle. But this is the winner, River Kerryog.
And it was pretty evident at the top of the hill that this horse here, leading now River Kerryog, was absolutely cantering, but there were quite a few behind him. Steve Smith-Eccles, on his 49th winner of the season, has left them for absolute drunks behind him. They've got no answer whatsoever. And this horse, who'd finished so well at Ascot last time out when Reva Rose got up to win, Reva Rose incidentally couldn't meet this engagement through sore shins, has certainly trained on, and I doubt whether we'll see an easier winner all week. It's in the colours of Bobby McAlpine, and he's by Brockstead, who stood at Bobby's Emerald Stud up in Cheshire, and certainly he'll be a very proud man to see this one come home. He's got a lot of interest on the flat, but his heart is also very much into jumping.
And the steward's inquiry announced, but surely not affecting the winner. It may have been that Knockkelly Castle was hanging a little bit at the last. It just interesting to see whether he did appear to interfere with any of his rivals. But very little doubt that number 28 will remain in the frame after the opener here. The opener which the Irish had supplied successful raiders in for 7 of the past 9 years. Looked to be supplying a very, very dangerous threat when Paddy Prendergast's hope, Knockkelly Castle, who had made a mistake, incidentally, earlier on, moved up at the second last, but he just put his head up a little bit and hung, rather as he had in his previous run in Ireland. And Deep Idol, his great rival from over the sea, got up to deprive him anyway of second place, and he was officially placed 4th, Knockkelly Castle, incidentally, ahead of 5th, the Chepstow winner, number 8, Canute Express, and River Kerryog, the 40-1 winner. And there the photograph for the minor placings, showing Deep Idol, the Clown, Knockkelly Castle, and between Knockkelly Castle, as near as to us, of that trio behind Deep Idol, is Canute Express. And young Lorcan-Wire, whom we'll be seeing tomorrow on a Murta in the National Hunt Chase. And so a great fillip this for the See You Then stable of Nicky Henderson. It's his 26th winner of the season, and it puts Steve Smith-Eccles on the 49 mark. Trained by Barry Hills, this horse on the flat. Barry won first 2 of his 3 races with him in 1984. Ran a pretty good race not all that long ago at Ascot behind Reva Rose and Wagoner, who went on to be second on the level at Cannes-sur-Mer. Nicky Henderson, his trainer, was telling me earlier that they call it Kyriog, not Syriog in the stable. Not, he added, that you'll probably have to mention him very much. And so the starting prices after shock number 1 at the National Hunt Festival as follows.
First, number 28, River Kyriog, 40-4-0 to 1. Second, number 13, Deep Idol, 4-1 favourite. Third, number 34, The Clown, 100 to 1. First, River Kyriog, 40 to 1. Second, Deep Idol, 4-1 favourite. And third, The Clown, 100 to 1. But remember, there is a steward's inquiry.
Desert Orchid, the grey, third from the right. Going to jump this with Charcoal Wally. Right up sides, the two greys, Desert Orchid and Charcoal Wally. Silver Wind over on the far side. King Joe lost some ground at the first, and Silver Wind's gone there. Silver Wind, a faller. The horse continuing riderless, and his rider's just got to his feet. Desert Orchid in the lead from Charcoal Wally. Berlin goes into third now. French Union over on the far side, followed by River's Edge and Music Be Magic. Then comes Bartridge and For Auction, the former champion hurdle winner. Oregon Trail right over on the far side. Broadbeam and All Ten Glaze and Rhythmic Pastimes just in behind them as they jump the third. And it was still Desert Orchid with the advantage from Charcoal Wally. Berlin in third, 4 Music Be Magic and 5 as French Union. Behind them come River's Edge and Bartridge and Broadbeam, and then Oregon Trail and For Auction, All Ten Glazed. Between horses is Rhythmic Pastimes, King Joe, the back marker. And Desert Orchid clear of Charcoal Wally, Music Be Magic. Berlin on the inside, being followed by Oregon Trail, then River's Edge, then comes French Union, Broadbeam on the outer, running down to another plain fence. And Desert Orchid jumps it well clear of Charcoal Wally and Berlin and Music Be Magic. They're all safely over it, running down now to the water, number 6 of the 12 fences, 12 obstacles. And it's Desert Orchid well clear of Charcoal Wally, Berlin, Music Be Magic and Oregon Trail. Just in behind them, River's Edge, then French Union and Bartridge on the outside as they come to the first of the ditches. Desert Orchid lands clear of Charcoal Wally, Berlin. Behind them, Oregon Trail. Then on the outside, Bartridge. Another plain one. Desert Orchid jumped it clear of Charcoal Wally. Berlin third. 4 Oregon Trail. 5 River's Edge. A gap then to All Ten Glazed and then Bartridge. Behind them, French Union. Then comes For Auction under pressure as they come to the final ditch now. And Desert Orchid clear of Charcoal Wally. Berlin on the inside. On the outside of Berlin, River's Edge. Just behind them come Oregon Trail. And these 5 a long way clear of the remainder, who are being headed by All Ten Glazed. Beginning the run downhill now. And still Desert Orchid, who's made all the running so far from Charcoal Wally. Berlin on the inside. Then comes River's Edge, and then Oregon Trail. Music Be Magic was the faller out in the country. They're running down towards the next 3 from home now. Charcoal Wally coming to try and get on terms now with Desert Orchid. Then comes Oregon Trail on the outside of River's Edge, and then Berlin, who's making no progress at all now. And it's Charcoal Wally taking it up now from Desert Orchid. For Auction was the faller there, coming down to the next. And it's 2 from home, Charcoal Wally from Desert Orchid. Then comes Oregon Trail, racing round the home turn now. And as they do so, it's Charcoal Wally with the advantage from Oregon Trail, who's moved into second. Desert Orchid is third. Then comes River's Edge and Berlin coming down to the final fence now in the Arkle Challenge Trophy. And as they do so, Charcoal Wally lands in the lead from Oregon Trail on the far side. Desert Orchid is third. 4 and 5, River's Edge and Berlin racing into the closing stages. Charcoal Wally being pressed all the time by Oregon Trail. Charcoal Wally on the near side, Oregon Trail on the far side. Oregon Trail is getting up at the line. Oregon Trail has just won it from Charcoal Wally with third, Desert Orchid, and 4, River's Edge. Then came Berlin and All Ten Glazed, and behind them French Union and Bartridge and Broadbeam the only other finisher, and so the result of the Arkle Challenge Trophy. First, number 15, Oregon Trail, owned by Mr. W.H. Ponsonby, trained by Simon Christian, written by Ronnie Began. Second was number 6, Charcoal Wally, owned by Mr. J.W. Mercell, trained by Ron Hodges and written by Brendan Powell. And third, number 8, Desert Orchid, owned by Mr. R. Burridge, trained by David Ellsworth and written by Colin Brown. Fourth was number 18, River's Edge. This is the winner, Oregon Trail, running only his third race of the season.
And what a fantastic race this, although there was some grief, I'm afraid, on the way around. But on the inside, the grey there, Desert Orchid, who cut out the trail all the way, just being headed by the other grey, Charcoal Wally, who looked to be going better than anything at the moment. Oregon Trail back in third place and getting a reminder there from Ronnie Began. But remember that this second horse here had chased home Charcoal Wally at Ascot. And as they come round the last bend, you'd have thought that he was going to do exactly the same thing again today. He's Syndicate owned by Henry Ponsonby's colours are on this horse's back. He has 15 horses in syndicates, and going to the last, he's just starting to peg back the leader. Now a jump here is going to clinch it. In fact, the leader gets a good one, Oregon Trail gets just a good one, and away they go up the hill. Desert Orchid just weakening back in third place. He jumps superbly, and I'm afraid the writing's on the wall for anyone behind him. But at this stage, you'd still think Charcoal Wally was going to hold on. But the Simon Christian gelding, Oregon Trail, comes from behind now under hard driving from Ronnie Began, a really good jockey here. Brendan Powell losing nothing in defeat, and Simon Christian must be delighted to have his first ever National Hunt Festival winner, having trained for so long under that great maestro, Foot Warwin. And I'm sure Foot will be very proud of his protégé here. So Charcoal Wally, a superbly brave race, but just losing the spoils. And there's Desert Orchid with his ears cocked back in third place, but some way behind the leading two.
So Oregon Trail avenges that defeat at Ascot by Charcoal Wally at the place where it really matters, the National Hunt Festival. And the official verdict, 3/4 of a length and 8 lengths. So following a 40-to-1 winner, a 14-to-1 winner, so nothing appears to have occurred yet at Cheltenham to cause the premature closing of the betting shops who are receiving pictures from us this afternoon. Ronnie Began on the most significant winner of his career, this 18th running of the Arkle Challenge Trophy, his 9th winner of the season, Ronnie, and number 7 for the successful trainer of this gelding by Auction Ring, out of Oriental Star by Falcon, Simon Christian. Remarkable that the hitherto unbeaten Music Be Magic should have been almost out of touch, really, when he went at the fence downhill out in the country. And Berlin, also unbeaten, was really no longer a force after the third last. In fact, approaching it, he already looked to be in some trouble. So just before the winner reaches the winner's circle, time to bring you up to date with a latest result.
That's the 250 at Cheltenham. First, number 15, Oregon Trail, 14-to-1. Second, number 6, Charcoal Wally, 11-to-1. And third, number 8, Desert Orchid, 11-to-2. First, Oregon Trail, 14-to-1. Second, Charcoal Wally, 11-to-1. And third, Desert Orchid, 11-to-2. Now, the win total there was £25 exactly. Places, £4.30, £2.30 and £2.50. And the dual forecast, £76.40.
And first bout, one of the first to show, first bout from Bruges, as they come at a very good clip to the first flight. First bout, Bruges, all safely over it. On the near side, Azir, run over right up there with them. Gliseptra again just in behind the leaders. Tom Sharp right over on the far side. Spot the sheepskin noseband there. But it's first bout. Tom Sharp, Bruges, Azir towards the left of the picture. Towards the very far left, another sheepskin noseband. That's Ranova. Just in behind him, Gliseptra again and Kesslin. And behind them come Robin Wonder and Seema. And then James Mead. Back marker at the moment is Aonok as they come down to the next. First bout lands just in the lead from Azir on the near side. Then comes Bruges over on the far side. Tom Sharp on the near side. Ranova. Then Gliseptra again. Then Kesslin and Corporal Klinger. And then Gay Brief and Robin Wonder on the outside. Then comes See You Then with No Harm Done on his inner. And then Herbert United. And behind them comes Prideaux Boy and Arrow Run. And the back marker at the moment is Aonok. So they make this top turn with first bout on the inside of Azir. Just in behind them, Bruges. Then comes Ranova, Tom Sharp on the inner. Then Kesslin, Gliseptra again. Then Robin Wonder, Corporal Klinger on the inside. Then Gay Brief and No Harm Done, Seema on the outer. And then Herbert United. And behind them, Humberside Lady. Then comes Prideaux Boy and Arrow Run. And behind them comes Stan's Pride. The back marker still is Aonok with Out of the Gloom only just in front of him. They're jumping the third now. And as they do so, Azir and first bout almost together. Then Ranova on the outside of Bruges. Tom Sharp on the inner. Corporal Klinger making ground. No Harm Done. Well in touch over on the outside. Gliseptra again. And then comes Robin Wonder. And on the outside of Robin Wonder is Kesslin. So racing towards the fourth of the 8 flights in all. Azir, first bout. Ranova. Robin Wonder jumps right up there on the outside. Herbert United well in touch on the outside also. Out of the Gloom is one of the laggards. Racing towards the next, Azir from first bout. Just in behind them, Robin Wonder and then Ranova, then Herbert United and Corporal Klinger. As they jump the fifth. And a faller there. It looked as though it may have been Corporal Klinger who went there. First bout in the lead though as they race towards the top of the hill. First bout, Azir, very little between them. Then Robin Wonder. Herbert United is travelling very smoothly. Just in behind them come Gay Brief. Then See You Then, the favourite, just in behind the leaders and making ground. They're coming down now towards the third last flight. And very closely grouped they are too. Herbert United, Robin Wonder, Prideaux Boy coming there on the outside. First bout still right up with them on the inner. See You Then is tracking his stable companion. They're coming down now to the second last. Prideaux Boy on the outside. Herbert United. Gay Brief coming there strongly. First bout. See You Then also well in the picture now. And as they round the home turn, and it's See You Then and Gay Brief as they round the home turn. Gay Brief, the 1983 winner, and See You Then. This is a repeat of last year as Gay Brief comes to it with See You Then travelling smoothly on his outside. See You Then is going to jump the final flight fractionally in the lead. See You Then from Gay Brief. Then comes Prideaux Boy racing into the closing stages, and See You Then sprinting away once again from Gay Brief as they race to the closing stages. It's See You Then sprinting away from Gay Brief as they come to the line. It's number 50 of the season for Steve Smith-Eccles. See You Then's won the champion hurdle. Gay Brief is second. No Harm Done in a photo with Prideaux Boy for third. Just behind them came Bonalba and Humberside Lady, and then first Barton, Kesslin and Herbert United. It's a photograph for third place, but no doubt about the 1-2. The winner is number 23, See You Then, owned by the Stipewood Stud Limited, trained by Nicky Henderson, ridden by Steve Smith-Eccles. Second was number 12, Gay Brief, owned by Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, trained by Mrs. Mercy Rymel, ridden by Peter Scudamore, and a desperately close photo for third place between number 17, No Harm Done, and number 19, Prideaux Boy, the faster finisher of the two. Number 17, No Harm Done, who may have just got up to snatch third place. But this is the winner, there's no doubt about that. The winner for the second successive year, being congratulated there, Steve Smith-Eccles, on his 50th winner of the season. What a race to pick for his half-century. Let's review the closing stages once again with Richard.
And although there were plenty of them in contention as they swept down the hill, none was going better than last year's winner, See You Then. He's about 4 from the right there. The light colours, breast girth, although a lot of them got breast girth on. and just rises about a neck behind first bout stable companion. On the inside in the red colours is Gabe Reef, the 1983 winner, but just look how well Steve Smith-Eccles is actually going on his outside. Prideaux Boy on the outside, the outsider there, 50-1 shot when we last saw him, in third place at the moment, and he may have hung on to it, but I think perhaps not. But let's go with the leaders now as Gabe Reef powers up the hill that he knows so well. But look how Steve Smith-Eccles is cantering. He must be calculating his percentage of the winning prize, and a great leap at the last just puts paid to it. Now Waller horses, Kesslin on the inside, Herbert United there, Prideaux Boy in the middle, Humberside Lady is there, No Harm Done on the left of the picture. But now Steve Smith-Eccles, hands and heels, no more need to just give him a tap and keep him going, but he knows he's got his second champion hurdle in the bag. No horse has gone on to win 3 champion hurdles since Persian War. Is this the one to do it? Well, this is only his second race of the season, and he wins with his head in his chest. Gabe Reef second, and yes, I think No Harm Done back in third from Prideaux Boy fourth.
Yes, he is officially third, No Harm Done, and Prideaux Boy fourth. And this, of course, the hero of the race for the second successive year. What a double for Nicky Henderson. The distance is 7 lengths and 1.5 lengths. Number 27 of the season for Nicky, and as I mentioned earlier, number 50 for Steve Smith-Eccles. This horse by Royal Palace out of Melodina by Tudor Melody, having had only one previous run this season. His target all year has been a repeat in this great prize. The Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle, worth 41,435, or more exactly to the winner after the mandatory deductions, £30,930. Just to recapitulate, No Harm Done officially placed third, ahead of the gallant outsider Prideaux Boy, who certainly ran the race of his life. And a new scene, a relatively new scene here at Cheltenham, the Tented Village. Immensely popular feature. And here racegoers can lunch and see the racing from the course side tables. So a really brilliant champion hurdler returns to be acclaimed by this enormous crowd here at the headquarters of steeplechasing. So Nicky Henderson didn't use up all his luck in the first race. What a triumph for him. See you then himself looking, as he looked in the race, as though it was just no bother at all to him. Once again, I would think that he pulled Steve there almost earlier than he wanted to be on the spot. But he kept going in great style, and really, once again, as last year, showed a right turn of foot to earn that richly deserved applause. So, with a favourite, a winner, that'll set the betting shops back, I doubt. The full starting price is as follows.
First, number 23, See You Then, 6 to 5 on favourite. Second, number 12, Gay Brief, 14 to 1. And third, number 17, No Harm Done, 20 to 1. First, See You Then, 6 to 5 on favourite. Second, Gay Brief, 14 to 1. And third, No Harm Done, 20 to 1. The totes, £2.10 for a win. Places £1.50, £3.60 and £3.80. Dual forecast, £13.60.
That's it. They're away, and Oceanus dwells a little bit. Barrowline also, and Alkeeper dwelt a little bit at the start. And the first to show is Renus as they come to the first flight. Renus with Sporting Mariner on the outside. 10 plus is right up there on the inner with Ibn Marj right up there too, and then Christo and then Auntie Dot. It's Renus and Sporting Mariner as they come to a very fast pace indeed to the second flight. Sporting Mariner from Renus there. 10 plus on the inside of Ibn Marjid. Tickety Boo just in behind them. Then comes Auntie Dot and Christo, and Alkeeper is tailed off at the moment, Maria Cullen. And it's Sporting Mariner from Renus, then Ibn Marjid. Then comes 10 plus on the inside. Christo's right up there with them. Pike's Peak is not far behind him, and nor is Mr. Goddard. And then comes Hawser. Just in behind Hawser is Auntie Dot and Sporting Mariner, and John Lower setting a very, very fast pace. From on the inside, Renus, and Renus is outside and trying to get to the fore is Ibn Marjid. Just in behind him comes Christo. Then 10 plus on the inside. Towards the outer is Auntie Dot as they race now towards the next. This is the third of the 10 flights. Sporting Mariner in the lead. Sporting Mariner jumps it in the lead from Ibn Marjid, now goes second. 10 plus over on the far side, the favourite. Towards the left of the picture is Christo. Just in behind Christo is Auntie Dot. Tickety Boo making ground over on the far side. So as they run down towards the next, Sporting Mariner, 10 plus as they come to the fourth, little between these two. Then comes Ibn Marjid. Topham's Taverns has moved up close to the lead. And then comes Christo on the left. Over on the far side, Tickety Boo being tracked by Harry's Double. At this flight, Sporting Mariner and 10 plus from Tickety Boo on the far side. On the near side, Topham's Taverns with Christo. Just behind them comes Renus. And just in behind Renus is Harry's Double. Behind him, Kildino making ground, and then comes Pike's Peak and Mr. Goddard. On the inside is Hello. Renus has lost ground. Barrowline is making ground towards the outside. Just in behind them, Field Conqueror, and Alkeeper is just about making up that ground and is moving up to join regular time, but still 27th and 28th, those two, as they run downhill with 10 plus on the inside of Sporting Mariner. Tickety Boo going well in third. Behind them come Topham's Taverns and Ibn Marjid and Harry's Double. Then Renus and Christo and Pike's Peak making ground towards the outside. Auntie Dot is next, followed by Hello as they come to the next flight, the fifth. 10 plus, Sporting Mariner, Tickety Boo. Then Topham's Taverns. Just in behind Topham's Taverns is Christo, Pike's Peak on the outside. Behind them, Ibn Marjid, and then comes Kildimo, then Hello. Behind Hello is Auntie Dot, and then Harry's Double. And Kitto making a little bit of ground towards the outside. Running down towards the sixth now, 10 plus and Kevin Mooney, Sporting Mariner and John Lowe, a little between these two. Pike's Peak moves up to be third on the outside. Tickety Boo a close fourth, then comes Christo. Then Topham's Taverns and Ibn Marjid, and behind them Hello still making ground. So racing right over the far side now with 4 left to jump, and it's 10 plus from Sporting Mariner. Pike's Peak is third. Then Field Conqueror moving into fourth. Tickety Boo is fifth. 10 plus landed in the lead there. Didn't jump that quite as fluently that time. Hello is improving. But it's 10 plus by about 4 lengths now. 10 plus from Sporting Mariner. Then Pike's Peak. Then Field Conqueror. And Lorcan Wire still making ground. But it's Vince Mooney clear at the moment as they run downhill. Kevin Mooney a long way clear on 10 plus from Pike's Peak. Then comes Field Conqueror, and behind him Hello still making ground. 3 from home, 10 plus lands in the lead from Pike's Peak and Field Conqueror. Running down towards the next, 2 flights to jump now, and 10 plus clear of Pike's Peak and Field Conqueror. 10 plus at the second last, only about 3 lengths clear now of Pikes Peak, and then comes Field Conqueror racing round the final turn. 1 flight left to jump now in the Sun Alliance Novices Hurdle, and the favourite and Kevin Mooney a long way clear as they come to it. On 10 plus, being chased by Pikes Peak and Field Conqueror. This is the final flight. 10 plus, lands clear of Pikes Peak, second, third, Field Conqueror, 4, Topham's Tavern, 5 is Arkle as they race into the closing stages. It's going to be another for Foxhunters as 10 plus strides up to the line to win this very clearly indeed. Running on is Topham's Taverns, but at the line, 10 plus is the winner. Pikes Peak is second, Topham's Taverns is third, and fourth Arkle. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. Behind them came Field Conqueror and Vino Fester, and then Auntie Dot. Behind Auntie Dot was Kildemo, and looking right back to last place, it was Mr. Goddard. And so the result is first, number 44. 10 plus, owned by Mr. Basil Thwaites, trained by Foxhunters and written by Kevin Mooney. Second was number 35, Pikes Peak, owned by Lord Soames and Mr. J.E. Nash, trained by Nicky Henderson and written by Steve Smith-Eccles. Third was number 47, Topham's Taverns, owned by Mr. Roland Topham, trained by George Moore and written by Michael Hammond. And fourth was number 1, Arkle.
And Kevin Mooney has always had a great deal of brains, and he employed them to the fullest extent today, having really kicked on with 10 plus. He went a long way from home. He ensured it was a good gallop. We know this horse can finish up this stiff Cheltenham hill, and he made everything behind him struggle to get to him. Coming round the last bend, he was pushing and kicking and slapping. He had been for some way, because this was the way to win, and certainly he did win. How nice to see Foxhunters back here again, his second winner in 2 days, and in fact this one certainly made in the mould of a chaser, and what a lovely thing to see Basil Thwaites' colours back here in front again. He's a great supporter of National Hunt Racing. Coming to the last, a bit untidy there, didn't lose a lot of momentum, but all 3 of the leading horses there, Field Conquerors, the third of them, were all a little bit untidy as they jumped it. But coming from behind now, you can see the followers on. Pikes Peak's coming, Topham's Tavern. Arkle there is only 5th, but he runs on very strong. But there's no catching this one. He had flown. 10 plus had gone up the hill to record his 4th success this season. He was a nice horse last year, but he's a lot stronger and bigger this year, and certainly he has shown what he's made of. What a good staying horse this is, and what a chaser for the future.
Yes, as you say, Richard, what a chaser for the future, and how he's bred for the game is by Raise You 10 out of an Arctic slave mare, Snowcat. And he went off the 5-2 favourite. So a great double for Foxhunters. One with his only runner yesterday, Crimson Embers. And this one won just as bad as easily. That's his 4th race of the season and his 4th successive triumph. Lambourne, 1st, 2nd and 4th this time. My goodness, what form their horses are in. They won the first 5 races on the opening day yesterday. "15 lengths, the official distance. Number 22 of the season for Foxhunters, and number 18 for Kevin Mooney, whom I rechristened Vince. He was an old-time jockey before the time of a lot of you. Showing my age a bit there, certainly. Vince even wore my undistinguished colours way back 30-odd years ago. Half a length between second and third. That's Outer Edge and Richard Dunwoody, just behind Steve Smith-Eccles on Pikes Peak. And Kevin Mooney on the winner. So we have one result from elsewhere for you, and the starting prices on this opener on the second day as follows.
First, number 44, 10 plus, 5-2 favourite. Second, number 35, Pikes Peak, 10-1. And third, number 47, Topham's Taverns, 20 to 1. The win tote £2.70 and the place is £1.80, £2.40 and £5.70. Dual forecast £6.20. There's the result of Newton Abbot. That was the first race there, the 2 o'clock. Won by 22, Handy Mouse, 25 to 1. Second, number 17, Sword Play, 6 to 4. And third, number 34, Razzle Dazzle Boy, 20 to 1. Win tote there, £16.30. And the place dividends, £2.20, £1.50 and £7.90. Dual forecast, £23.40. And the computer straight forecast paid £72.18.
And so Kevin Mooney returns to the winner's circle on Fulk Warwin's second triumph of the meeting. And getting a great reception. What future this horse has. And Kath Warwin greeting this young stable star.
He took time to find his form this season, but he's won well the last couple of races.
Yes, he was a little bit off early in the season, but he seems to have come back to his best. I would prefer to see him drop a rain come, slow the others down a little bit, but having said that, he's in good form and I expect him to run very well, you know. Buckhouse, I think, will love the ground. He not as good on soft ground, but this ground will really suit him and he jumps well, so he should be hard to beat, you know.
And Frank Berry, who is his hairline's receding rapidly to meet the back of his neck, a really good rider, been at the top in Ireland for a long, long time, and one of their most stylish and best riders. I love to see Frank riding because he rides with a mixture of gentleness and then certainly with confidence when it's needed. One of the very best. I hope to see him obliged today, having fallen last year. Now look at that stream of people going across the course there, and they'll wander down the track. It's something that I'd advise a lot of you, if you come racing, to do. Go down the track, stand by the fences and get the atmosphere of what it's all about. Far too many people spend their time in the bar and completely divorced from the racecourse itself. So Badsworth Boy, he has won it for the last 3 years, and before that it was Rath Gorman for the Dickinson stable, but it was Mrs. Dickinson who trained this one last year, and she is again. Jonathan asked Mrs. Dickinson, Badsworth Boy had been off for 12 months, you know, what about the comeback?
We got him into work at the beginning of the season, about September time, and he went a bit lame on us, so we said he'll have to finish, he'll have to retire. So the owners agreed, turned him out at a stud for a month, and then they rang us up and said everything was all right, he was quite sound, no swelling anywhere, would we have him back? So we had him back. But unfortunately, he was just back and really ready to gallop and run when the freeze-up came after Christmas. So poor thing is very short of galloping, and also he hasn't had a race, you see, since this race last year. So it's asking a lot of him.
So Monica Dickinson, very, very good, and telling us far more than her son Michael used to. He was very guarded, but though he used to talk to the press all the time, you could talk to him for 10 minutes and not actually learn anything. So there is Badsworth Boy. Poor old thing, he's had this arthritis, but you know, a lot of horses don't like being retired. They're pampered when they're in training, they're kept in a warm stable, well clothed and exercised, fed with the best available, and obviously he didn't enjoy his retirement. Well, there hasn't been a lot of movement in the market lately, but let's just have another show.
Yes, Bob's Iron still 13 to 8. Buckhouse 5 to 2. Very promising 11 to 2. Change there. Badsworth Boy 8 to 1.
And they're being called in. 12 fences to be jumped this time in the Queen Mother Champion Chase, and running to the first, Panarctic just a little bit slow away. Our Fun and Summer Led. Buckhouse and very promising. The court here to touchdown first, followed by Fearless Imp, making a little bit of ground towards the left of the picture, but as they come to the next, it's Summer Led who leads over the second from Our Fun and Fearless Imp. Just in behind them, Buckhouse and Very Promising, then Cathy's Lad, then Badsworth Boy, St. William. The back markers are Panarctic, Little Bay, and Bob's Line as Summer Lead makes it, coming to the third from Buckhouse and Our Fun and Fearless Imp. And Cathy's Lad, Very Promising over on the far side. Summer Lead, protectively bandaged. The sheepskin noseband lands in the lead from Fearless Imp and Buckhouse and Our Fun and Very Promising and Cathy's Lad and Badsworth Boy, and behind them St. William and Bob's Line, and then Little Bay and Panarctic. Summer Lead from Fearless Imp. Our Fun, Very Promising, Buckhouse and William on the outside, then comes Cathy's Lad, then Badsworth Boy, then Bob's Line. Behind Bob's Line is Little Bay, and then Panarctic. That was the fourth. So running downhill now, Summer Lad from Fearless Imp, Very Promising, Our Fun on the inside. Buckhouse is next, then Cathy's Lad, then the Quartet Seeker, Badsworth Boy, then comes St. William, Bob's Line, over the fifth, and all safely over it. Coming to the water now, Summer Lad from Fearless Imp. Buckhouse, Very Promising. Badsworth Boy and Cathy's Lad and Our Fun, and then Bob's Line making a little bit of progress, then St. William. This is the first of the ditches with Summer Lad taking it from Buckhouse and Very Promising. And they're all safely over the ditch. Panarctic the back marker, Summer Lad the leader as they come to the eighth. From Buckhouse, Very Promising and Badsworth Boy very close to them. Then Cathy's Lad. Behind Cathy's Lad is St. William, and then comes Our Fun. Behind Our Fun is Fearless Imp. Then Bob's Line improving, the Little Bay upsides. Panarctic the back marker coming to the final ditch now. Four from home. Summer Lad from Buckhouse on the outside. Very Promising, very close to them. And Badsworth Boy right up with them. A Little Bay faller there. Running downhill. Three left to jump. Summer Lad, the leader, from Very Promising and Buckhouse. Then Badsworth Boy in fourth. Bob's Line's improving in fifth. Then comes Cathy's Lad, sixth, and the rest look out of it as they come down to the next. Summer Lad being pressed by Buckhouse. This is three from home. Buckhouse now from Summer Lad, Very Promising third. Bob's Line four. Five is Badsworth Boy. Buckhouse has gone clear now of Summer Lad, Very Promising and Bob's Line as they come down to the next. Two from home. Buckhouse lands clear. Very Promising, a mistake. Bob's Line nearly on ship. Summer Lad was the faller there. And Buckhouse now well clear. Very Promising in second. Bob's Line in third. Then Cathy's Lad four. Five Badsworth Boy. Running to the final fence now in the Queen Mother Champion Chase, and Buckhouse a long way clear of Very Promising. Buckhouse showing with his white face, clear. 6 lengths clear of Very Promising, who jumps in second. Cathy's Lad jumps in third, and it's Buckhouse from Very Promising. Very Promising putting in the determined challenge, but Buckhouse and Tommy Carmody holding him as they race towards the line. It's Buckhouse who's going to win it. Buckhouse is the winner. Second is Very Promising. Third is Cathy's Lad. Fourth, Our Fun. 5, Bob's Line. 6 is Badsworth Boy. 7 is Fearless Imp. 8 was St. William. And 9th was Panarctic. And so the result of the Queen Mother Champion Chase: first, number 3, Buckhouse, owned by Mrs. Seamus Purcell, trained by Mouse Morris in Ireland and written by Tommy Carmody. Second was number 15, Very Promising, owned by Mrs. Jean Maunders, trained by David Nicholson and written by Peter Scudamore. And third, number 7, Cathy's Lad, owned by Mr. J.E. Clayton, trained by Alan Jarvis and written by Steve Smith-Eccles. Fourth was number 9, Our Fun. And these two pace setters still with quite a commanding advantage, Brittany Boy and the Liquidator, as they come down to the next flight. Number 9, Brittany Boy and the Liquidator, Rivaro, Sabandoulois on the outside, Crimson Embers very close, and these 5 being chased by Newlaw, Midnight Count, then King's College Boy, then Out of the Gloom, then Rising Forest making a little bit of ground. Coming to the 10th, the Liquidator on the inside of Brittany Boy. Now Rivaro getting much closer, so Sabandoulois, so is Crimson Embers. A gap then to King's College Boy as they race to the top of the hill. The Liquidator with 3 left to jump in the lead. From Brittany Boy, Sabin du Loire, Rivaro under pressure on the inside. Crimson Embers is next, and then quite a long gap to King's College Boy out of the gloom, and Rising Forest who's still making ground. Coming down to the next now. This is the third last flight. Still the Liquidator being chased by that game little mare. Rivaro, Sabin du Loire on the outside. Crimson Embers coming there. Brittany Boy trying to hold his place, and Rising Forest still making ground. The Liquidator though from Crimson Embers. Rivaro under extreme pressure. Rising Forest still making ground on the far side. This is the second last flight now. The Liquidator from Crimson Embers and Rising Forest who jumps it third. Then comes Rivaro, then Sheer Gold making ground towards the outside out of the gloom, and then Brittany Boy racing to the final flight now. Crimson Embers has surged clear, and it's Crimson Embers now from Sheer Gold, Rising Forest as they come to the final flight. Crimson Embers is going to land in the lead, makes a hash of it. Sheer Gold jumps it second and falls. Hampers Rivaro racing into the closing stages. Crimson Embers has gone well clear, being chased by Rivaro and out of the gloom, and then comes Rising Forest as they race to the line. Crimson Embers wins it this time strictly on merit as they come to the line. Crimson Embers is the winner. Then comes Rivaro in second. Third was out of the gloom. Fourth Rising Forest. Mr. Donovan with the sheepskin noseband. Right up there in the early stages with 10 Cherries over on the far side. Talon right up there and Ursa on the near side. And it's Venture de Cognac and Talon. Then comes Lakin just in behind them with Ursa and Further Thought and Mr. Donovan. And Borderberg has gone there. He's recovered. He's recovered. My goodness, that was a recovery. That was some recovery. So they go up to the next. That was Peter Greenhall. And so as they run up to the third, it's Venture de Cognac from Talon. Further Thought on the inside, then Ursa, then comes Lakin. Then on the outside is the Grey Dart Over. On the inner 10 Cherries, then Village Mark. The back markers at the moment are Dull Light and Dicky Blob. So running down to the water now, Venture de Cognac from Talon and Further Thought. Borderberg, who so nearly went, that was an amazing recovery. At the second is back up there in fourth now. Then comes Lakin and Ursa and Mr. Donovan just in behind them as they jump the first ditch. And all safely over it. Plane one, Venture de Cognac from Talon and Further Thought. Then comes Lakin. Just behind Lakin is Borderberg, then Village Mark and Ursa as they come to another ditch. Venture de Cognac lands in the lead from the giant Further Thought, then Talon, Borderberg and Lakin racing to the top of the hill. That's the 8th of the 22 fences, and still Venture de Cognac, with one or two of them finding this pace just a bit too hot for them. Dicky Blob is tailed off, and Dull Light, topically named this afternoon, is one from last. This is the 9th. Venture de Cognac jumps it to the right of the picture. Mistake there by the grey in the background, Dart Over. But Venture de Cognac as they run downhill towards the next. Over the 10th, Venture de Cognac. Talon and Mr. Donovan made progress just in behind him. Then comes Lakin, Further Thought and Borderberg. Then Attitude Adjuster. Behind him is Village Mark as they run down to the next. Talon, the chestnut in the center. On the far side, Venture de Cognac with the breast girth and the sheepskin noseband nearer to us, Mr. Donovan. Then Further Thought and Borderberg and Lakin in Attitude Adjuster. Then Village Mark, then Ellie Oggerty and 10 Cherries. Over the 12th, Mr. Donovan and Talon from Venture de Cognac on the inside. Then Lakin, Borderberg and Further Thought, this big Further Thought travelling very smoothly at the moment. Attitude Adjuster behind him, and then Eliogity behind Eliogity is Village Mark, and then 10 Cherries. And then comes the grey Borderberg. And behind Borderberg is Ursa, then a long gap to Dull Light, and a still further long gap to Dicky Blob. But all 14 still standing as they run down towards the next fence. This is the 13th, Mr. Donovan on the outside, Talon in the centre, on the near side is Venture de Cognac. Then comes Further Thought, Attitude Adjuster and Borderberg, and Lakin and Eliogity as they jump the water for the last time. And still closely grouped up front. The third of the 4 ditches. Venture de Cognac on the inside. Borderberg going right up there on the outside. Eliogity a faller there. Eliogity and Carolyn Beasley are out of it. Carolyn's up on her feet all right. The horse is all right too. That was the 16th. Venture de Cognac led from Mr. Donovan and Borderberg. And a bad mistake by Lakin there. Attitude Adjuster has moved much closer to the lead as they come to the final ditch now. Venture de Cognac and Mr. Donovan, 6 from home. Attitude Adjuster, Mr. Donovan's great rival back in Ireland. Very close now to the action. There was a blunder there by Borderberg. Further Thought is back in 4th. 5 from home. Venture de Cognac from Mr. Donovan. Then comes Attitude Adjuster in 3rd. 4th and quite close to them still is Further Thought. Then a gap to Borderberg as they begin the run downhill. 4 left to jump. Mr. Donovan and Venture de Cognac. Venture de Cognac and Mr. Donovan almost together from Attitude Adjuster in 3rd. Then Borderberg in 4th. Mr. Donovan on the far side of Venture de Cognac, Attitude Adjuster, the pale colours between them as we see them at the moment. Mr. Donovan and Venture de Cognac land together. Mr. Donovan, the sheepskin noseband, getting a reminder there from Frank Codd. Venture de Cognac on the far side, Paul Webber, these two being chased now all the time by Attitude Adjuster and Further Thought. Mr. Donovan with a fractional advantage now, being chased by Attitude Adjuster as Venture de Cognac begins to fade. And now they're running down to the second last, and as they do so, it's Mr. Donovan on the far side, Attitude Adjuster on the near side. There's nothing between the two. Attitude Adjuster on the near side, Mr. Donovan on the far side. Further Thought finishing well in 3rd, coming to the final fence now. Attitude Adjuster, the leader now from Further Thought, and Mr. Donovan. Attitude Adjuster lands in the lead, retired Mr. Donovan. Further Thought trying to produce a run towards the stand side. It's Attitude Adjuster and Ted Walsh being pressed all the time by Tim Thompson-Jones on Further Thought. Attitude Adjuster for Ireland, from Further Thought for England as they come to the line. Attitude Adjuster has won it, Further Thought is 2nd, Mr. Donovan is 3rd, and Venture de Cognac is 4th. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Christie's Foxhunters Challenge Cup. So the result: first, number 1, Attitude Adjuster, owned by Mrs. J.M. Magna, trained by Mouse Morris, is 2nd winner of the meeting, ridden by Mr. Ted Walsh. 2nd was number 8, Further Thought, owned by Mrs. Vera Vandenberg, trained by her, or really in Anne Underwood's livery yard, and ridden by Tim Thompson-Jones. And 3rd, number 10, Mr. Donovan, owned by Mr. J.P. McManus, trained by Eddie O'Grady, and ridden by Mr. Frank Codd. 4th was number 15, Venture de Cognac. This is the winner, Attitude Adjuster.
It had been a super race from right from the start. They all had a crack here. But turning for home, it's the 2 Irish horses, Mr. Donovan on the inside and Attitude Adjuster nearest to us. Both get a good jump there. Ted Walsh riding in the yellow colours, but look at the ominously big figure looming up there of Further Thought back in 3rd place. And Venture de Cognac just weakening. Well, this one is the 2nd winner for Mouse Morris, who won with Buckhouse yesterday, and running in the colours of Susan Magna, who is, of course, the daughter of the great trainer Vincent O'Brien. So there'll be some celebration today, and I should think that they're one of the few people able to fill this huge cup up with the very best champagne. Here, as they come to the hill, he's not a very big horse, Attitude Adjuster, but you can see that Ted Walsh is only flicking his whip at him, and so he knows that there's plenty left, because when Ted gets stuck stuck in. He doesn't play the banjo quite like he's doing now. Behind him, Further Thought is really plugging on, but not actually able to finish at all. But he's run a superb race, and it was a good win. The second one for Mouse Morris in 2 days. Attitude Adjuster, the 10-to-1 winner.
So he's confirmed that placing in a recent point-to-point with his compatriot, Mr. Donovan, and made it much more emphatic than the neck which separated them at Thurles in February. And there'll be a few attitude adjusters drunk tonight, I can assure you. For those unfamiliar with that particular refreshment, it's a blend of vodka and Kahlua in the parts of 9/10 vodka and 1/10 Kahlua just to color it, a little ice and nothing else except a headache in the morning. Ted Walsh, no stranger to success here at the National Hunt meeting. A fine amateur, used to ride that good horse Daring Run, and showed today that it's quite unnecessary to belt a horse up the final hill here. He just shook his stick at him and kept him going. And I hope when a few jockeys look at the video, they'll realize that that's just as effective. Ted, a very popular personality on Televis Aaron, as a sports spot in the evening. And he's being preceded in there by Talon and Rod Munro Wilson, and Lakin ahead of them. 10 Cherries, the Grand National Hope, and Dickie Blob behind them. The official distances, incidentally, 2 lengths and 10 lengths, and the starting prices as follows.
First, number 1, Attitude Adjuster, 10-1. Second, number 8, Further Thought, 4-1. And third, number 10, Mr. Donovan, 4-1. First, Attitude Adjuster, 10-1. Second, Further Thought, 4-1. And third, Mr. Donovan, 4-1.
So Ted returning on Mouse Morris's second triumph of the meeting. A meeting at which, incidentally, there's been a massive gamble this morning on the Gold Cup veteran, Wayward Lad, laid by Ladbrokes to lose $250,000 at 10-1. Wayward Lad, the co-senior of our next race, the 1986 renewal of the Cheltenham Gold Cup, the co-senior with Earlsbrigg, both 11 years old, and Wayward Lad trying to break his Cheltenham hoodoo and to win the 27th race of his distinguished career. Side bets on the outcome of this one between Attitude Adjuster and Mr. Donovan. There's Mouse once again, in a circle just by Ted's shoulder.
Can you look towards the centre, please?
This will be a popular winner in Tipperary. Several appeals from the riders who can't get in. And they're away. 22 fences to be jumped this time. Run and Skip is the first to show from Dawn Run. Run and Skip from Dawn Run and Observe as they come to the first. Run and Skip and Dawn Run. Then Observe and Cybrandian. Behind them, Right Hand Man and Earlsbrigg. And then Wayward Lad and Von Trapp, Forgive and Forget and Coombs Ditch. The back marker, Castle Andrea. as they jump the second. Dawn Run lands just fractionally in the lead from Run and Skip, little between the two. Then Cybrandy and Observe, and then Earlsbrig, and behind them Right Hand Man and Von Trapp and Wayward Lad, and then Forgive and Forget, Coombs Ditch, and finally Castle Andrea. Quite a run, long run now towards the third, with Dawn Run on the inside of Run and Skip. The mare taking the initiative just marginally as they run downhill now. Observe is in third, Cybrandy in 4, 5 is Earlsbrig. Then come Right Hand Man, Von Trapp, and then Wayward Lad, Forgive and Forget, and Coombs Ditch, and Castle Andrea as they run to the next. Dawn Runner will Run and Skip hit that, but he got away with it all right. And now running down to the water, the fourth. And Dawn Run, the Little Wonder mare, in the lead. Dawn Run from Run and Skip, and all safely over the water. Coming down to the first of the ditches now. Dawn Run, Run and Skip. Then Cybrandy and Observe and Earlsbrig on the outside. Then Wayward Lad. Behind Wayward Lad is Right Hand Man. Then Von Trapp, and then Forgive and Forget, Coombs Ditch, and finally Castle Andrea as the mare comes to the next, the sixth, and lands in the lead. And swings left-handed ahead of Run and Skip. Cybrandian's rider's lost his irons. It looks as though his saddle's gone right over on the left of the picture, and he's going to be pulled up. Cybrandian is out of it. Dawn Run lands in the lead, but only marginally this time from Run and Skip. On the right of the picture, just out of picture, is Observed. Then Earlsbrig over on the far side, followed by Right Hand Man as they come to the eighth. Very little between the two leaders there. Castle Andrea having a job to remain in touch as Run and Skip takes it up once again from Dawn Run. Little between the two, though, as they begin to swing downhill towards the ninth. Dawn Run going very well within herself, the mare. Run and Skip on the far side. Earlsbrig came next, and then Right Hand Man. So they run down to the next. Dawn Run to the right. This is number 10. Run and Skip to the left. Earlsbrig is just in behind them now. And behind Earlsbrig is Right Hand Man and Observe. Forgive and Forget's got a little bit closer. Von Trapp well in touch. Run and Skip. These white blaze, the near side to us of the mare as they turn into the straight on the first circuit and face up to the fence that'll be the second last on the next circuit. Run and Skip and Dawn Run. Quite a way ahead of the others now, and they're headed now by Wayward Lad, then Earlsbrig, then Von Trapp, then comes Forgive and Forget and Right Hand Man as they come down to the next. Dawn Run lands in the lead from Run and Skip over the 12th. Wayward Lad jumped at third, and 4 was Von Trapp, and 5 Earlsbrig, and 6 Forgive and Forget. 7 is Coombs Ditch, 8 is Right Hand Man, and behind them come Observe and Castle Andrea getting out of touch. All standing except Cybrandian, whose saddle went and he had to be pulled up. And Dawn Run in the lead, going very well within herself. John Joe Neal had a little peek over his right shoulder there, saw Run and Skip, his nearest pursuer, as they jumped the 13th. Dawn Run from Run and Skip made a mistake there, got away with it. Same fence as he hit last time. Wayward Lad is third and going well. Von Trapp is next. Forgive and Forget's making ground on the inside, and then comes Earlsbrig as they jump the water. Dawn Run, Run and Skip. She just dropped her hind legs in the water there and lost a little bit of impetus, but she's all right as she comes down to the third of the 4 ditches. On the inside, jumped it very well. And Earlsbrig a faller at that one. Earlsbrig has gone, and it's Run and Skip and Dawn Run at the 16th. From Wayward Lad and Forgive and Forget, Right Hand Man on the outside of Forgive and Forget. Then comes Von Trapp as they race towards the final ditch, 6 from home. Dawn Run on the inside of Run and Skip. Then comes Wayward Lad, then Forgive and Forget and Right Hand Man. And hard to see anything else getting into it now, as they race up to the very peak of the hill now. This is 5 from home. Dawn Run on the inside of Run and Skip. Oh, she hit that very hard indeed, but she's got away with it. Run and Skip and Dawn Run as they begin the run downhill now towards the 4th from home. Run and Skip has got the inside berth. The veteran Wayward Lad getting very much closer to them now. Run and Skip, Dawn Run, Wayward Lad, Forgive and Forget. And as they run down now with 3 left to jump. Run and Skip. Von Trapp was a faller at the top of the hill there. Run and Skip lands in the lead from Dawn Run, Wayward Lad and Forgive and Forget. Now there are just 2 fences left to jump in the Gold Cup, and it's Run and Skip. Over on the far side, the mare, Dawn Run, Wayward Lad, the veteran, on the near side, and Forgive and Forget still running very, very strongly indeed. Last year's winner as they approach the second last fence. Run and Skip, Dawn Run, Wayward Lad and Forgive and Forget coming there strongly on the stand side at the second last. Run and Skip, Dawn Run, Wayward Lad, Forgive and Forget still coming there strongly on the near side. Forgive and Forget on the near side now as they come to the final fence. Forgive and Forget is going to jump marginally in the lead from Wayward Lad. Forgive and Forget on the near side, Wayward Lad on the far side. It's Wayward Lad, the veteran, trying to break his Cheltenham Hoodoo, being pressed now by Dawn Run in the centre. Forgive and Forget on the near side as they race to the line, and the mare's beginning to get up, and as they come to the line, she's made it. Dawn Run has won it. Dawn Run has won it from Wayward Lad. And John Joe O'Neill punches the air as the mare has made tough history here at Cheltenham. She's become the first in history to win the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup. The result of the 1986 Gold Cup as John Joe O'Neill receives the congratulations of Mark Dwyer and Graham Bradley. First, number 14, Dawn Run, owned by Mrs. Charmian Hill, trained by Paddy Mullins and ridden by John Joe O'Neill. Second was number 12, Wayward Lad, owned by Mrs. S.N. Thulis, Mr. Les Abbott, and trained by Mrs. Monica Dickinson, ridden by Graham Bradley. Jimmy Duggan congratulating John Joe there. He's never been more thrilled to do that. And third, last year's winner, number 6, Forgive and Forget, owned by Kilroe and Sons Limited, trained by Jimmy Fitzgerald. You've never heard a reception like this, and ridden by Mark Dwyer. Fourth was number 10, the gallant, long-time disputer with Dawn Run, and upsides her there, number 10, Run and Skip. The stands, everybody on their feet, erupting here at Cheltenham. The biggest prize ever raced for in the Gold Cup. Probably the biggest crowd ever to see it. And the greatest moment in the career, surely, of the great former champion, John Joe O'Neill. He won the Champion Hurdle honour. Now he's won the Gold Cup honour. And no other horse or mare has ever achieved that remarkable double in jumping history. Yes, he's thrilled. She made a little mistake at the water, lost a little bit of impetus. It can often be disastrous that she just dropped her hind legs in the water. Then she made a fractional mistake, 5 from home. This will be the greatest reception you'll ever have heard or seen at Cheltenham as John Joe comes into the winner's circle, provided he can get through the crowd and get there. A length and 2.5 lengths, that was the verdict. And what a climax to this blue ribbon of steeplechasing. Chasing's Premier Classic, and John Joe getting a little bit worried on behalf of the mare there. He just felt that she was getting bustled a little bit. But my goodness, she had to face this after the Champion Hurdle, but, well, something like this, but not really as dense a crowd, as enthusiastic a crowd as are gathered to greet her now. And so she breaths this rise and enters this hallowed circle, the 15-to-8 favourite. Well, I think, as I said after her great victory in the champion hurdle, that Dr. Desmond Morris would have to accept that this mare knows she's won. This is supposed to be a restricted area. You can rest assured that Tony Mullins, the trainer's son, whom John Joe replaced, will be just as thrilled as anybody. They're great friends, and they were talking in the weighing room beforehand. And Tony will be the first man to congratulate John Joe on a great job. Well done. As last year's winner in the foreground, who looked sure to repeat that success when he hit the front just approaching the last. But what a rally by the mare, and what a fine run too by the veteran Wayward Lad. Everybody dying just to get a touch of her. So let's go back to the memorable closing stages of this history-making 1986 Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Well, there have been many times when we've all been crying, and today is another one. The mare looks beat now at this moment, although John Joe's getting her back up the inside. Wayward Lad is making a run from behind, but Forgive and Forget is cantering in fourth place. Little Run and Skip, he's only half the size of Dawn Run, who's been up there right from the start, still hanging on gallantly. But here comes Wayward Lad, but just look at Forgive and Forget. John Joe really asks for a big one here. Up, he says, and up she comes, but really has to stretch for it. Forgive and Forget is still looming up. Wayward Lad is still there, and Little Run and Skip just crying enough at the moment. But as they go to the last fence, what price Dawn Run now? Wayward Lad goes on. Forgive and Forget has loomed up on the outside and actually just rises in front. John Joe and Dawn Run are third, but if ever he does try, it's up this long hill where there's a long run in. He's at his best, but doesn't he look beat now? Wayward Lad just drifts across Dawn Run there, but John Joe gets her balance, heads her for home, and really starts to work now. What a tearful time it must be for Mrs. Dickinson, who's produced this horse, Wayward Lad, spot on to see him cut down to size. But I'm sure even she will raise her hat to Dawn Run, John Joe O'Neill, who salutes the crowd there, and Charmian Hill, the owner.
Moments there. Great moments there. We've seen some marvellous moments in racing in recent years, Red Drums and Aldeneti's Grand National, but I don't think there's ever been a more emotional moment than this. Mrs. Charmian Hills, for whom this horse has been the embodiment of her whole life, really. She who has overcome personal injury and illness, and indeed Dawn Run herself almost died when she was a foal. But she came into Mrs. Hill's life when she was a 3-year-old. As a 4-year-old, Mrs. Hills, on her last ride, partnered Dawn Run to victory, as we saw at Tralee, and now she enjoys the ultimate fulfillment of being the first woman ever to own a horse who has won the Champion Hurdle and the Gold Cup, in both of which races she was ridden by John Joe O'Neill.
John Joe, the most fantastic sight we've ever seen at Cheltenham. How do you feel?
It speaks for itself. I think John really was fantastic. Best moment I've ever had in my racing life anyway. Fantastic, really.
But you had some very nasty moments on the way around. You dropped the hind legs in the water and you missed fences. And here we are. The last fence, wavered lads headed you. Forgive and forget on this side. What are your feelings?
Well, Graham came across today. He was getting tired, and when she sensed he was getting tired, she just put her stuff together and really had a go, you know. She's as game as a pebble and she stays really well. I don't know what the time was, but I bet it was a fast gallop, you know. It was a really good race, you know.
It must have been a fast.
But she's as game as a pebble. You're on your little beauty.
What about that mistake at the top of the hill? I mean, it looked as though she'd almost gone.
Yeah, she's very clever, John. She always get her leg out, you know. But I was a bit worried at that stage because, you know, we'd gone such a gallop. I was hoping to try and give her a breather, but Steve kept pressing us on the little horse, you know. He's ran a hell of a race, really, and I had to get back there again, you know. She flew the fourth last down the hill, and I was happy then. I could see Brad was coming there nicely all the time, and he came past us, you know, going to the last. I thought we were beaten, you know. But you're never beaten her, you know. She's as game as a pebble, like, and it was a terrific performance.
Well, John Joe, she gave you a fantastic ride, if I may say so. You gave her a fantastic ride.
Yeah, well, I would like to add to that, John. Tony got a lot of criticism, Tony Mullins, and to be honest with you, he was fantastic. He was the first man to come and congratulate me. And when I went to school, the mare at Punchestown, Tony came up and rode walk with me and told me all he could tell me about the mare. Same thing today, we had a good long chat about it before racing. And I would like to give a lot of the credit, if not all the credit, to Tony Mullins for telling me what to do.